What's up guys, Pratima here. So this is the new Xiaomi Pad 7 Ultra and this is by far the most ridiculous Android tablet I have ever used. Just think of it as if the regular Xiaomi Pad 7 was Steve Rogers who took the super soldier serum and became Captain America. Because from a giant 14-inch OLED display to a monstrous 12,000 mAh battery, this thing is a total beast. And the craziest part about this tablet is that it does not even use a Qualcomm or a MediaTek chipset, but a self-developed 3nm chip called XRING O1. This thing even puts Samsung's Exynos and Google's Tensor chips to shame quite easily. It has a unique 10-core CPU and an insane 16-core GPU setup, although compared to the regular XRING O1 on the Xiaomi 15S Pro, most of them have been underclocked by quite a bit. I guess that makes sense because look at how thin this tablet is. It's actually as thin as the 13 inches M4 iPad Pro at just 5.1 mm. So there's no way Xiaomi could fit a proper vapor chamber to cool it down if the XRING chip was running at the peak clock speeds. To see how Xiaomi's custom processor performs, I compared it with Qualcomm's top-end Snapdragon 8 Elite on my S25 Ultra, and here on Antutu, the XRING O1 beat the 8 Elite by like 8%. Next up, I wanted to see how its CPU and GPU perform in isolation. Long story short, I found the Snapdragon 8 Elite to be ahead in all of the tests I ran, literally all of them. The 8 Elite, yes, it's ahead, but the fact that Xiaomi is trailing by just 10 to 15% on its first attempt at a flagship chip is quite extraordinary. That being said, I am worried about the XRING O1's power efficiency because when I looked at the power draw, the Xiaomi Pad 7 Ultra was clearly sipping a lot more power than my Galaxy S25 Ultra, especially in something that requires a lot of GPU computation. I was suspicious of this from the very start since a 16-core GPU never felt practical enough for a mobile processor, so I guess this just confirms my suspicion. I also played a few games on the Pad 7 Ultra, and here as well the Snapdragon 8 Elite was the more power efficient out of the two, even though their FPS numbers are practically the same in everything from Genshin Impact to PUBG and Mobile Legends. I should, however, mention that the XRING O1 hasn't been optimized for high FPS gameplay for most non-Chinese games yet, so I can only hope this changes with some future updates. Another aspect where the Xiaomi Pad 7 Ultra is fantastic at is the display. I have been craving OLED on Xiaomi tablets for so long, and man, this guy definitely delivered, and most handsomely. From 12-bit colors to a smooth 120Hz refresh rate, a super sharp 3.2K resolution, and all the display certification you could possibly think of, Xiaomi seriously went all in for this display. It's super bright too, capable of reaching 1600 nits for HDR content or even 900 nits throughout the entire screen, which is actually a lot brighter than Samsung's Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra and nearly as bright as the tandem OLED we get on the M4 iPad Pro. On the other hand, I also love how Xiaomi cared about night owls like me with a habit of staying on the screen at night by including both DC dimming and high-frequency PWM dimming. Also, take a look at these bezels. I have never seen a tablet with such slim bezels, which honestly felt a little scary at first because I thought there would be accidental touches all the damn time, but no. I can't remember a single time it registered something it didn't mean to, so that's pretty awesome. Plus, we also get an insane set of speakers here. There's 4 woofers and 4 tweeters, and they sound so freaking good that I almost can't believe the audio is coming out of a tablet. It gets so loud with no distortion even at the max volume. There's also some bass in the air, and when I compared it with my 15 inches MacBook Air, I actually found its speakers to sound richer and more detailed. Okay, moving on, the Xiaomi Pad 7 Ultra's build quality is also premium as they come. I honestly don't know exactly how Xiaomi did it, but the weight distribution here is outstanding. It just doesn't feel like I'm holding a 14 inches tablet that weighs well over 600 grams. I also love the addition of a fingerprint reader for better security here, and also its super fast USB-C port with up to 10 Gbps transfer speeds. The Pad 7 Ultra is still missing out on any sort of IP rating like on Samsung's premium tablets or even cellular connection for that matter, but Xiaomi earns a big thumbs up from me as far as design and the build quality are concerned. I had no problem with the software experience and optimization on the Xiaomi Pad 7 Ultra as well. The animations, the transitions, everything felt smooth to me, and you might know that I'm a big fan of Xiaomi's HyperOS 2 on a tablet. The way it makes it so easy to multitask between apps, the way it so effortlessly works as a secondary display for my Mac or my Windows machine, it's just so fun to use. But I did feel like all those multitasking features, including split screen and floating windows, could not really make the most out of this massive laptop-sized display. There were multiple times when I wanted to open more than 2 apps in split view here, which is something I can easily do on OnePlus and Samsung's Galaxy tabs, by the way, or even iPads now, because Apple just made iPad an absolute multitasking monster with all those Mac OS inspired windowing features on iPad OS 16. However, on the Xiaomi Pad 7 Ultra, I can only have 2 apps in split view here. The rest of the apps are limited to floating windows, which means if you frequently multitask between 2 or more apps, that's going to end up looking a little unorganized here. Now I know HyperOS 2 has something called Workstation to make multitasking between a bunch of apps easier, kind of like Dex mode on Samsung tabs, but like Dex, you will need to pair it with a keyboard to make good use out of it. And the good news is that Xiaomi actually has a pretty killer keyboard accessory for this flagship tablet with a nice aluminum build, adjustable stand, satisfying 1.3mm keys, and a pressure-sensitive touchpad. Likewise, I want to extend that thumbs up for its battery backup too, because its giant 12,000 mAh battery just goes on and on and on, easily lasting like 10 to 12 hours on average. What I found even more impressive is that the Pad 7 Ultra hardly drained a single percentage of battery overnight. Plus, this is also among the fastest charging tablets out there, since it can accept up to 120 watt of power. You get the 120 watt adapter inside the box itself, of course, and that takes around 80 minutes for this tablet to hit 100%. So what's left? Yes, the cameras, and this is the only area where I felt like the Xiaomi Pad 7 Ultra skips the flagship beat, even though it has a pretty capable 50 megapixel rear camera and a 32 megapixel selfie camera. They're honestly nothing too exciting. Plus, its front camera can't even track me around to keep me in the frame while I'm in a video call, which is such a basic thing to ask for on a tablet at this point. Alright, so I guess it's pretty clear that I absolutely love the Xiaomi Pad 7 Ultra with its gorgeous OLED display, incredible battery life, and performance from that self-developed chip standing out more than anything else. I know the XRING O1 still has some ways to go before it catches up with Qualcomm or MediaTek, but man, just think about what it means for the competition, especially for companies like Samsung and Google, who have been trying to make their own processors for years but haven't really done anything impressive yet. So all in all, in my opinion, Xiaomi has bagged another winner with the Pad 7 Ultra. Now, I just wish Xiaomi would bring this fantastic machine to the global market as well, because the high-end tablet market has been desperately waiting for some competition besides just Apple and Samsung. And I can't think of a better device to do that than this guy right here. Okay, everybody, that was all for this video. What do you think about the all-new Xiaomi Pad 7 Ultra? Do let us know in the comments below. And while you're there, please do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Saying this, I'm Pratima, and thank you so much for watching. But, got